The 3D Zelda series has some truly unstoppable bosses, but 8 of them tower above the rest in pure canonical power. Every single one of these villains threaten entire kingdoms, dimensions, or the fundamental nature of reality itself. So today, I'm explaining the strongest main story bosses in 3D Zelda history, based entirely on their lore and breaking down exactly what makes them so terrifying. Starting with a demon sword who turns servitude into an art form. Girahim is either the most powerful servant in Zelda history, or proof that being a weapon has a ceiling you can't break through, and I can prove it. Before you roll your eyes at a sidekick boss making this list, hear me out. Girahim isn't some random minion. He's the sentient spirit living inside Demise's sword, the dark counterpart to Fi, who inhabits the Master Sword. When Demise was sealed beneath the sealed grounds after his war against the goddess Hylia, Girahim gained independence and became the self-proclaimed demon lord, ruling the entire surface world below Skyloft. He commanded every demon and monster left in existence. His sword form literally bears an inverted Triforce symbol. His powers are absurd. He can teleport across vast distances, and he's the one who created the tornado that knocked Zelda from the sky to set Skyward Sword's entire plot in motion. He catches Link's sword blade with his bare hands. He has 3 combat forms, each more dangerous than the last, with his true form being a fully metallic humanoid with only a gemstone core as a weak point. He can summon armies, conjure energy projectiles, and possesses ritual magic powerful enough to extract the soul of Hylia's reincarnation and channel it into his master to resurrect him. And here's where it gets wild. His plan actually works. He successfully kidnaps Zelda, travels through the Gate of Time to the past, and fully resurrects Demise. Then he transforms back into his master's sword with absolute delight, fulfilling his purpose. Link defeats him 3 times with a partially powered goddess sword, but Girahim's intelligence and versatility make him the most dangerous non-Ganondorf servant in the entire series. But at least he chose his master willingly, unlike the Puppet King who conquered 2 dimensions on borrowed power. Zant. Zant conquered the Twilight Realm and all of Hyrule in a matter of days, and it's genuinely hard to overstate how much damage he caused. But here's the thing. Every single drop of that power came from someone else. Zant is a Twily, a descendant of the ancient interlopers who tried to steal the Triforce millennia ago and got banished to the Twilight Realm by the Light Spirits. He served the royal family but was consumed by rage when Princess Midna was chosen as ruler instead of him. That bitterness attracted Ganondorf, who had been banished to the Twilight Realm after surviving his own execution. Ganondorf appeared to Zant as a colossal burning face and made him an offer. Ganondorf's exact words were chilling. "I shall house my power in you. If there is anything you desire, then I shall desire it too." Zant mistook him for a god, and with that borrowed power, Zant became unstoppable. He cursed Midna into an imp, stripping the true ruler of her abilities. He transformed the entire Twily population into shadow beasts, mindless monsters under his command. He defeated the light spirit Lanairu using telekinesis without even raising his arms. He covered multiple provinces of Hyrule in twilight, forcing Princess Zelda to surrender by threatening genocide. He killed Queen Rutella and sealed the Zora under ice. He shattered the Mirror of Twilight, reanimated the dragon fossil Star-Lord, and created portals between dimensions without needing the mirror. His boss fight literally recreates 6 previous boss arenas through reality warping. Zant is the only non-Ganondorf boss in the series to successfully conquer 2 entire realms simultaneously. That's a dimension-level threat, but here's his fatal weakness. The second Ganondorf dies, Midna's curse breaks instantly. Zant himself taunted her that the curse could never be lifted while his god lived. That's an admission. Strip away Ganondorf's power, and Zant is just a bitter politician with ambition, but 0 independent magical strength. A puppet king on a puppet throne. At least Zant had delusions of godhood. The next entry had no personality at all, just pure hatred that broke a kingdom in a single day. Calamity Ganon. Calamity Ganon destroyed the most technologically advanced civilization in Hyrule's recorded history in a single day, and it did it without a personality, without a plan, without even being a complete entity. It's just concentrated hatred given form. Here's what nobody talks about. Calamity Ganon is not Ganondorf. Tears of the Kingdom retroactively reveals that Calamity Ganon is a separate entity, a manifestation of pure malice that leaked from the sealed body of the ancient Demon King, Ganondorf imprisoned beneath Hyrule Castle for millennia. The game describes it as the Demon King of ancient times, brought back to existence in the form of hatred manifest. This isn't a being with strategy or desire. It's a primal force of destruction that first appeared 10,000 years before Breath of the Wild and was defeated by ancient heroes using Sheikah technology. When it returned 100 years before the game, it learned. Its signature ability is technological corruption. In one catastrophic moment, Calamity Ganon seized control of every guardian across Hyrule and all 4 divine beasts, turning the kingdom's greatest defenses into weapons of annihilation. It created 4 Blight Ganons, each powerful enough to kill a champion, the greatest warrior of every race. It spreads malice across the kingdom, corrupting creatures, structures, and the land itself. Through the Blood Moon, it can resurrect every slain monster across Hyrule simultaneously, giving it an effectively infinite army. King Rome's account is chilling. That vile entity brought the kingdom of Hyrule to ruin. It appeared suddenly and destroyed everything in its path. The scale is world level. It killed King Rome, the 4 champions, most of the population, and nearly killed Link, who required 100 years in the Shrine of Resurrection to survive. Princess Zelda's divine sealing power held it at bay for a full century, and even while contained, it maintained control of the divine beasts and continued spreading malice. Zelda describes its final form, Dark Beast Ganon, as threatening destruction unlike anything ever seen before. But here's the limitation. Calamity Ganon is explicitly incomplete. It was interrupted during regeneration when Link fought it. Its Hyrule Compendium entry describes its awareness as consumed entirely by malice, meaning it's mindless rage without strategy. Most critically, it's merely a byproduct of the real Ganondorf's sealed hatred. The residual malice of a sleeping villain accomplished all this. If you think unconscious hatred destroying a civilization is terrifying, wait until you hear about the Ganondorf who outlasted the gods themselves. Wind Waker Ganondorf. The gods of Hyrule drowned an entire kingdom to stop this man, and he survived. That sentence alone tells you everything you need to know about Wind Waker's Ganondorf, but the full story is even more insane. This is the same Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, centuries later, in the adult timeline. After the Hero of Time sealed him and was sent back in time, Ganondorf eventually broke free of the Seven Sages' seal. The gods' response was the most extreme measure in the entire series. They drowned the entire kingdom of Hyrule beneath a vast ocean. Ganondorf survived even that. He spent centuries beneath the waves, plotting and gathering strength. When he resurfaced, he launched a methodical campaign across the Great Sea, commanding the Helmarok King to kidnap pointed-eared girls in search of Zelda, murdering the sages of wind and earth to strip the Master Sword of its power, and generating an endless night curse across the entire ocean world. His powers are exactly what you'd expect from someone wielding the Triforce of Power for centuries, near invulnerability and immortality across multiple lifetimes. He survived a direct flame blast from the Sky Spirit Velu that set the Forsaken Fortress ablaze. He killed 2 sages in calculated strikes, rendering the Master Sword powerless against him. He briefly assembled the complete Triforce by collecting all 3 pieces. He created powerful minions including Jalhala and Mulgera, each strong enough to assassinate a sage. His swordsmanship exceeded Link's, and only Zelda's light arrows could penetrate his defense. But here's what makes this incarnation unique. Wind Waker's Ganondorf has something no other version possesses: genuine pathos. In his final moments, he reveals his true motivation. My country lay within a vast desert. When the hot wind blew and the sun beat down, I always thought of the winds in Hyrule, the wind that blew over the green fields. He coveted Hyrule's life-giving wind because his homeland brought only death. He's a conqueror who was also a refugee, a tyrant who was also a mourner. This emotional depth doesn't diminish his power. It contextualizes the will that kept him alive for centuries beneath an ocean. He was only permanently stopped by King Daphne's Noel Hyrule, wishing on the complete Triforce to flood Hyrule forever, combined with Link driving the Master Sword through his forehead, turning him to stone as the ocean crashed down. He ranks here because divine intervention couldn't kill him, and his sheer longevity is unmatched. But his actual conquest was more limited than the entries above him, and he was ultimately defeated by a child hero. But if you think surviving the gods is impressive, the next entry doesn't answer to gods, the Triforce, or anyone. Majora. Majora is the most mysterious, powerful entity in the entire Zelda franchise, and here's why that's absolutely terrifying. It has no connection to Ganondorf, the Triforce, Demise, or any established power structure in Zelda's mythology. It exists entirely outside the framework. Nobody knows what it is, where it came from, or what it wants, and that makes it more dangerous than almost anything else on this list. The Happy Mask salesman provides the only canonical backstory. According to legend, the troubles caused by Majora's Mask were so great that the Ancient Ones, fearing catastrophe, sealed the mask in shadow forever. It was used in hexing rituals by an ancient tribe and contains a sentient being of unknown origin. The non-canon manga depicts Majora as a dragon-like creature that predated time itself, and while that's not official, it hints at the cosmic scale Nintendo intended. Here's where it gets insane. Majora's signature feat is pulling the moon from its orbit and directing it on a collision course with Termina. That is arguably the single most impressive raw power display by any Zelda villain. It gradually possessed the Skull Kid and used him to seal away Termina's 4 guardian giants, deities powerful enough to physically hold back the moon inside corrupted temple bosses. It cursed 4 entire regions simultaneously, poisoned swamps, deadly blizzard, polluted ocean, and a kingdom of undead. It transformed Link into a Deku Scrub and turned the adult Kafei into a child. Even after the 4 giants halted the moon, Majora abandoned its puppet, entered the moon itself, and attempted to force it down through sheer will alone. Its 3 combat forms demonstrate energy projection, extreme speed, tentacle manipulation, and the ability to animate boss remains. The scale is world level to cosmic. Majora was going to obliterate Termina by crashing the moon into it, an extinction-level event. The fierce deity's mass description directly compares its dark powers to Majora, equating them. The fact that an ancient civilization feared this entity so much they sealed it away forever suggests even they barely contained it. Here's the debate. Majora's raw, independent power may actually exceed several Ganondorf incarnations. Pulling a celestial body from orbit without any artifact is a feat no Triforce-wielding Ganondorf has matched. But Majora was ultimately defeated by a single hero with giant assistance and potentially the fierce deity's mask. Its threat was contained to Termina, a parallel world, and it never demonstrated the civilizational conquest or millennial persistence of the entries above it. What elevates Majora is its terrifying independence. It needs no Triforce, no secret stone, no borrowed power. Everything it does comes from within. In a franchise defined by the Triforce's power, Majora is the reminder that something older and stranger exists outside those rules entirely. But if cosmic independence is terrifying, the next entry reshaped 2 entire timelines and required the combined power of 6 sages just to seal. The original Ganondorf. This is the Ganondorf, the Gerudo king born once every 100 years, who became the template for all evil in Hyrule. The version whose actions created 3 separate timelines. And his feats across Ocarina of Time and Twilight Princess are genuinely absurd. In Ocarina of Time, Ganondorf feigned loyalty to the King of Hyrule while secretly plotting to access the Sacred Realm and seize the Triforce. When young Link pulled the Master Sword and inadvertently opened the Sacred Realm, Ganondorf entered and touched the Triforce. Because his heart was imbalanced, the Triforce split, but he kept the Triforce of power, granting him near immortality and boundless mystical power. He ruled Hyrule for 7 years, transforming it into a kingdom of darkness. Even before the Triforce, he was described as an extremely capable warlock who cursed guardian deities like the Great Deku Tree and Lord Jabu Jabu, created parasitic monsters, resurrected dead dragons, and generated waves of darkness that repelled fairies. But here's where it gets truly insane. In the Child Timeline, this same Ganondorf was captured and sentenced to death after the Hero of Time warned young Zelda of his treachery. The ancient sages chained him in the mirror chamber and impaled him through the chest with the Sword of the 6 Sages, a blade of pure holy light designed specifically for execution. At the moment of death, the Triforce of Power spontaneously manifested on his hand. He broke free, killed the Sage of Water while still impaled, and was banished to the Twilight Realm in desperation. From within that other dimension, he appeared to Zant as a massive, burning spirit face, and empowered him across dimensional boundaries, granting enough power to conquer 2 entire realms without ever leaving his prison. His combined powers are staggering. Near absolute invulnerability via the Triforce of Power, levitation, dark energy projection, telekinesis, reality warping. He created Phantom Ganon and Morpha, resurrected the dragon Volvagia, which was described as capable of turning all of Hyrule into a burning wasteland. He possessed Princess Zelda's body in Twilight Princess. He transforms into Ganon, a colossal boar demon wielding twin swords, requiring the combined power of the Hero of Time, 6 Sages, Princess Zelda, the Master Sword, and light arrows just to seal. In Twilight Princess, he survived Midna's full-power fused shadow attack, an assault that destroyed Hyrule Castle, then walked through the rubble, holding the fused shadow fragments like trophies. He wields the very Sword of the 6 Sages that failed to kill him as his weapon. He was only finally killed when Link drove the Master Sword into his specific execution wound. His scale is kingdom to dimensional. In OOT, he conquered all of Hyrule and maintained control for 7 years. In TP, his influence extended across dimensions while he remained imprisoned. He ranks here because he was ultimately sealed or killed in every appearance, and his individual feats of raw power don't match the top 2's scale. But if surviving divine execution is impressive, wait until you hear about the Ganondorf who shattered the one weapon forged to kill him. Tears of the Kingdom's Demon King. This is a different Ganondorf from the OOT incarnation, an ancient Gerudo king from the founding era of Hyrule, thousands of years earlier. And his resume is the most insane of any Ganondorf in the entire series. He overpowered beings explicitly described as godlike. He destroyed the Master Sword. His unconscious malice created a separate world-ending threat. Let me explain. This Ganondorf swore false allegiance to King Rauru, the first king of Hyrule, and a Zone with godlike light powers. Behind the mask of loyalty, he plotted conquest. He murdered Queen Sonia with a single strike to the back and stole her secret stone, a Zonai artifact that amplifies its bearer's innate power. Upon attaching the stone to his forehead, his skin turned coal black, his hair erupted into flame, and horns grew from his skull. He became the Demon King, bearing an unmistakable resemblance to Demise himself. His powers are the most extensively documented of any Ganondorf. He creates gloom, a corrosive darkness that saps a life force, reduces maximum vitality, and spreads disease. His body generates countless monsters that howl across the world. He created Phantom Ganons from his own flesh and blood, powerful enough to disguise as Princess Zelda and manipulate an entire kingdom. He's described as a master of every known weapon and is the only enemy in Totke capable of executing a perfect dodge and flurry rush, matching Link's own divine combat techniques. Most astonishingly, while still partially mummified and freshly unsealed, he shattered the Master Sword with gloom, destroying the one weapon forged across millennia to be the blade of evil's bane. Here's where it gets truly insane. The ancient sages testified to his overwhelming might. Rauru, a Zonai with godlike light powers, admitted admitted being clearly outmatched by the raw power of the Demon King. Every sage who faced him confessed inadequacy. Even my strongest blows weren't enough to break him. Even my strongest defenses could not stop his ferocious attacks. Rauru had to sacrifice his own life, using his secret stone's power to merely seal Ganondorf. He could not kill him, and even sealed for millennia, Ganondorf's residual malice leaked out and manifested as Calamity Ganon, meaning a single villain's unconscious hatred was itself a civilization-ending threat. But here's his most terrifying feat. When faced with final defeat, Ganondorf made the ultimate sacrifice. He tore his secret stone from his forehead and swallowed it, triggering draconification, a forbidden process that grants true immortality at the cost of losing one's mind, memories, and identity forever. He became the Demon Dragon, a colossal serpentine horror whose jet-black scales repel any and all attacks save for those of the one and only Master Sword, and whose overwhelming magical strength would shake the skies. To counter this, Zelda had to sacrifice herself via her own draconification, becoming the Light Dragon and carrying the decayed Master Sword for thousands of years to restore it with sacred power. Even then, defeating the Demon Dragon required Link with the restored Master Sword, the Light Dragon's direct assistance, and the posthumous power of Rauru and Sonia's spirits to reverse Zelda's transformation afterward. He ranks second because his feats are unmatched by any other incarnation. But he ranks below one entity because that entity is the reason Ganondorf exists at all: Demise. Demise is not a boss. He is the origin of evil itself, the primeval source from which all villainy flows, and every single entry on this list below him exists because of what he did and what he said in his final moments. Eons before the events of any Zelda game, Demise and his army of demons erupted from a fissure in the earth and launched a catastrophic war to seize the Triforce, the supreme power left behind by the Golden Goddesses. His assault was so devastating that the goddess Hylia, a literal deity left to protect the surface, was forced to take extreme measures. She cut a massive piece of land from the earth and launched it into the sky to save the surviving humans, creating Skyloft. She hid the Triforce above the clouds. She rallied the 5 remaining surface tribes for total war, and even then, she could only seal Demise, not destroy him. Afterward, Hylia sacrificed her own divinity and reincarnated as a mortal because only mortals can use the Triforce, ensuring her descendant could one day wish for Demise's destruction. Fi's analysis of Demise contains some of the most extraordinary canonical statements in the series. This eternal being has conquered time itself. It is the source of all monsters. He appears differently in each epoch and to each person who sees him, a protean, shape-shifting nature. Fi states the probability of any standard attack injuring Demise is exactly 0%. Only the fully empowered Master Sword, forged with the 3 sacred flames of Din, Nairu, and Furore, can wound him. His mere presence negates divine skyward strike energy. He can create his own pocket dimension for combat, summon lightning storms, channel electricity through his blade, and fire electrical energy discs. His sword bears an inverted Triforce, and Girahim, a being powerful enough to rule the entire surface, is merely the spirit inhabiting that blade. But here's why he's number 1. His dying words are the most consequential in all of Zelda. My hate never perishes. It is born anew in a cycle with no end. I will rise again. Those like you, those who share the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero, they are eternally bound to this curse. An incarnation of my hatred shall ever follow your kind, dooming them to wander a blood-soaked sea of darkness for all time. The word incarnation is bolded in the game's own text. This curse is the canonical explanation for why Ganondorf and potentially every major Zelda villain perpetually threatens those with the blood of the goddess and the spirit of the hero. Every entry on this list below number 1 exists because of these words. Hyrule Historia confirms Ganondorf's flaming red hair was designed to signify a direct connection to Demise, and Girahim in Hyrule Warriors senses his former master's presence within Ganondorf. The argument is simple and airtight. Demise fought a goddess to a standstill. Hylia, a full deity left behind by the Golden Goddesses, could not destroy him. She could only seal him at great cost. He is explicitly an eternal being that conquered time. He is the source of all monsters. His curse affects the entire timeline across all eras. Every game, every incarnation of evil, every threat Link and Zelda have ever faced traces back to him. It required the complete Triforce, a reality rewriting artifact, to destroy in the present, and even that only killed his physical form. His hatred persists as an eternal cycle. The most powerful Ganondorf in the series, K's Demon King, resembles Demise physically: coal-black skin, flaming hair, the Demon King title, suggesting Demise's influence is not metaphorical, but literal. He didn't just threaten one kingdom or one era. He threatened the fundamental nature of existence, and his shadow falls across every Zelda game that has been or ever will be made. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, click the video on the screen now.